actually. Well, yeah, it'll be up for auction. Up next, lot 176. It's David Beckham's Millennium Falcon. Wow, that really died. Thanks everybody for being with me on that journey.
Just wanted to see where it'd go.
Yeah, my point is that I think there's a website where you can send your old Lego and they kind of like rehome it, and it's like a nice thing to do.
David Beckham does that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't think he owns the website or anything. He just someone told me David Beckham likes Lego, and then when he's done, he sends it to this website and it gets
There's a lot
rehomed.
of things that need corroborating after this podcast.
Just accept that it's true without checking
Did
any
the
of the
inventor of the
facts,
Segway
please.
drive a Segway off a cliff?
Yeah.
Does David Beckham send his built Lego to charity shop?
Did Thomas Crapper invent the toilet?
He did. No, he did. I'm ending this now. It's time to move on to the main feature. We're having far too much fun. So it's time for the main feature where we're going to get spooky. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, welcome to the main feature.
We really do need to film these.
The organ plays in the background and a bat flies overhead. Oh, it's very, very spooky, very, very spooky. You might wish you were dead.
Please, it rhymes.
Can a children's TV show contact us and put that as a theme tune? Please, it gives me such a goosebumps vibe. Well, I'm glad it did, because the intro is not a children's TV show, but childish conversation upon the realm of horror video games. You can tell I'm very excited because I've done a little song.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
She's
gassed.
grinning. You can't see the grin.
There's so many teeth in my mouth.
It feels wrong. Like, I can't believe we're talking about this outside of Halloween.
We're sat in a cave underground.
Yeah, I know.
It's a perfect setting. It's the perfect place. I feel like the crux of this conversation I kind of want to make about horror games. Why do we keep coming back for more? Because we do.
I
don't know.
We absolutely do on the channel. Like, as in, I feel like, as no matter how many times we get burned by them in, like, scary ways, or like, oh, we'll always give another one a go. And I think you especially, Dave. The first thing I kind of want to ask about it, though, is what do you think of when I say horror games? Like, what do you think of? What feelings do you have? What games are there? What, like, experience? Are you just like, no, thank you? Or you're like, yeah, come closer. My game. My game.
I think of a whole bunch of things. Like, if you said horror to me, I'd be more, I think of it as, like, more interested in how they create the spooky atmosphere and how they create the horror. I always like if I play a horror game, I always like seeing what the game's done to spook you, be it like visual design or influence from previous horror titles, or Alien Isolation, the AI being super intelligent and constantly stalking you. So if you just said horror to me, I would think, I'm interested to see how they're going to spook me.
I'd like to see more.
I like to see more. Yes, how they build the world. At least I think anyway.
I think of gore, which is funny because I'm not really scared of gore, but I always think of horror games as, and this is like just what I think when you say horror games. I just think of horror games as leaning into gore quite a lot, which most of them don't do. But that is the thing to mind, even though that's not really what really scares me about horror games. I don't think that I'm not too worried about gore.
How about you, Rob?
I think of tense atmosphere and jump scares, and I really struggle with jump scares. This is probably why I don't play horror games voluntarily that much. Because there's a big difference, I think, between horror games and horror films. If you sit and watch a horror film, that after 2 hours it's going to be over. One way or another. Like, you can sit there and you can just absorb it, and you can, you'll suffer the jump scares. But with a game, you have to, something about being an active participant in it. Whatever's going to trigger the jump scare is dependent on you, and I find that incredibly difficult and unnerving. And I think that's what scares me most about horror games. It's not me. Like, the game is going to play itself, which is why I often but I think I don't know if this is going to tread on a question you're going to ask later, but I think recently I've come to appreciate maybe a different aspect of horror, and the kind of horror I enjoy is the not jump scare horror.
Yeah.